5 years in the making, a relic of last generation. Stumbling many times along the way, from delays to nearly canceled. A long-awaited test of faith and promises, the last vestige of the old Microsoft Xbox. All eyes, either doubtful or hopeful, are on a game meant to usher in the Xbox One, only to be released in time to close out the generation. And everyone is asking the same question. After all this time, is Crackdown 3 any good at all? This is Colt Eastwood. Thank you so much for stopping by to check out this video review. This is my first official review of a game. Microsoft sent me a review code early last week, and to show my appreciation, I am going to send someone a 3-month code for Xbox Game Pass so they can try this game out for themselves. All you need to do is hit the subscribe button, like this video, and comment why you are interested in Crackdown 3. So with that covered, let's get into my review of Crackdown 3. Crackdown is a quintessential open-world sandbox action-adventure game. Its roots are firmly placed and based on the Xbox 360 era, where those type of games thrived and became a staple of where we found our fun and randomized play. Crackdown 3 is available on Xbox One and Windows 10 PC. In this review, we are going to cover all of your concerns, anticipations, and questions with a full metric-driven review score based on 4 criteria. I'm basing my score of each against some of the best and the worst games I've played over the past several years. So now that this business is on the table, let's get down to the boom. Story. Crackdown 3 is a spiritual sequel to the first Crackdown of 2007. Crackdown 3 tasked the agency with the elimination of 3 major world organized terrorist groups hell-bent on bringing society to its knees, all led by Terra Nova. Terra Nova is led by Elizabeth Neiman, who believes that humanity is destroying planet Earth, and the only way to stop that destruction is by controlling society and its industry by replacing it with robotics and a new chemical energy source. The first attack kills off the entire agency team, scattering their remains across New Providence, a huge industrial city where Terra Nova's team is completing their takeover. It's here where you'll start as one of a few agents, but you'll want to start with the bombastic, rebuilt, and scrawny Terry Crews. The story of Crackdown 3 is told through comic book style, limited animation showcases, voiceover expedition via radio comms, and short in-engine cutscenes. There is not much story to tell. There's no emotional connection to a lost young child, a grieving widow, or coming of age. Crackdown chooses to keep its story as I'll tell you on the ride over affair, and it fits the pacing of a game where you'll never stand still longer than a second. Your first contact is a woman named Echo, who begins work with the agency because she has been following Terra Nova's every move. You'll still take snarky, insulting, and motivational orders from the voice of the agency.
Nice aim.
He also provides context for the story and progression to help bring down Terra Nova.
Terra Nova's officially marked you as a threat, agent.
You can see that there isn't much story, but what is here is compelling enough and lacks any forced humor or annoyances that other games in this genre push into storytelling. Gameplay. Crackdown is an open-world sandbox third-person shooter with platforming. It focuses on fast movement, hair-raising heights, explosive gunplay, and combat. The gameplay loop of Crackdown sees your agent jumping up small buildings to collect agility orbs to make it possible to run faster and jump higher. About an hour into the game, you'll be leaping buildings and dispatching clusters of enemies with a superhuman ground pound. Everything you do in Crackdown rewards you with experience in that discipline. Want to blow up things bigger? Use explosives. Want to earn the ability to pick up cars and hurl them at enemies? Use melee attacks. Soon you'll run faster than cars, jump higher than buildings, shoot accurately with more stopping power, and if you level up your driving, your agency-issued vehicle will turn from a car into a climbing ATV, and then an explosive-packing armored tank. The world of New Providence is full of terrorist-controlled activities and checkpoints. You can take down monorail stations controlled by angry purple AI robotics, security overlords, holding civilians hostage, and slimy green toxic waste refineries, all heavily guarded by soldiers, robots, weaponized drones, and towering mechs. You unlock additional agents by finding their remains hidden throughout the city. The drawback of additional agents is that they're really only cosmetic. The agents have small leveling perks, which is inconsequential because you can level any discipline for any agent by using that ability more. Terry Crews is the only agent with substantial personality and voice lines, and you'll soon discover that his voice work has been pushed back into the audio mix. Shooting is a lock-on mechanic which allows for fast, omnidirectional movement in chaotic situations while dispatching multiple enemies. Melee combat is powerful, combining punches and kicks in between reloads and grenade tosses. You'll have about 25 weapons to earn, 10 grenade types, and several vehicles to recall from checkpoints you've liberated. The objective is to liberate about 10 holds from each of the 8 Terra Nova bosses to greaten your chances of taking their elevated position. Each boss battle requires a vertical King of the Hill climb littered with protectors until you've reached the huge challenging boss battle. In previous Crackdown games, the boss battle consisted of luring out a lone human enemy with a rocket launcher, but Crackdown 3 gives you a true, isolated, larger-than-life boss battle. Foot races return with much improved controls for your agent and more fluid animations. These races earn you agility points you'd normally get by reaching and looking for green orbs scattered throughout the city, 1,000 in total. Driving can be leveled up by running over enemies or checkpoint timed races with various cars throughout the city. Driving controls are also improved, power sliding is much easier and more stable, and rewards you with purple orbs toward unlocking the transforming agency vehicle.
Level 3 aggression protocols are now authorized.
Gameplay is all around improved on and spot on. You'll literally feel like a super cop, and it only gets more satisfying the more you level up. The whole objective with Crackdown seems to be to give the player a feeling of satisfaction visually and gameplay-wise, and it definitely delivers. So let's talk about the graphics. Many people have their predispositions of what Crackdown looks like based off of years of rework by Microsoft and the influx of near photorealistic AAA games over the past several years. Everything you've heard or assumed about Crackdown's visuals is wrong. Crackdown 3 in the daytime of New Providence invokes feelings of a pared down Night City of the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077. That's right, it really does. At night, the game is absolutely gorgeous and saccharine enriched with deep blacks and blues accented by candy-coated neon lights. The agent is ripped right out of a Pixar movie with a detailed supersuit and Tron-inspired supercar. The presentation here is crisp, sharp, and decently detailed for a game relying on a comic book, simplified art style. But excuses or not, the world of Crackdown in New Providence is incredibly beautiful at every turn. Even with the putrid greens and sappy pinks decorating an environmentalist nightmare chemical plant, photorealism is not the target here, and the game benefits from an art style that is really quite enjoyable. I don't count pixels here, but the game runs at what appears to be a full native 4K with a limitation of 30 FPS on the Xbox One X, where I reviewed the majority of the game. But whether you're driving across the city or watching dirt, particles, smoke, fire, lightning, and a rainbow of tiny orbs among the wreckage, the frame rate on the Xbox One X never tires or hitches. On PC, however, keeping in true fashion of Microsoft's Play Anywhere, I picked up right where I left off on my Ryzen 2700X GTX 1070 PC with high settings at Xbox One X visuals at double the frame rate, playing at 60 FPS. The sound design is top-notch, with synthwave electronica mixes of music that contextually accent the activities and battles. Radio, indie rock, and rap does not make a return to civilian cars, unfortunately. The voice of Echo and director Goodwin set the mood with tenacity and authority. Even though Terry Crews has very little to say, his minimal voice lines are pretty funny, but push back into that mix too far. You'll have a full adjustment in the settings, but I never felt compelled to change them. Gunfire is hard-hitting, and the array of types of firepower you will wield all sound great, from pistols, assault rifles, and projectile weapons. The sound of nearby orbs and collecting them is completely intoxicating and satisfying. Multiplayer. Most of you are here to see what the multiplayer offers in Crackdown 3. The promise back in 2015 was to give players the keys to the city in a fully destructible multiplayer mode backed by the power of the Azure cloud service owned by Microsoft. First off, we'll talk about the campaign co-op. Originally, it was promised to give us 4-player co-op campaign, but it has been pared down to 2-player co-op. Microsoft Studios claims that 4-player co-op broke the illusion of power, with 4 agents dominating enemies and bosses. Either way, the 2-player co-op works. It works surprisingly well, with no hitches, no loading errors, or trouble in and out of joining a friend. You can do nearly anything in the game with your friend except ride in cars together. The only issue is that there is no drop-in, drop-out. If you want to invite a friend, you must do it from the main screen. But this is to facilitate your agency save state and separate world state. You can have up to 5 agent slots and 5 world slots to tailor your cooperative experience however you'd like. Multiplayer competitive PvP Wrecking Zone debuts on Crackdown 3, and it has mixed reviews in the technical tests and previews. Those expecting a citywide, fully destructible city may be disappointed to see that the city has been downgraded to several city blocks of a simulated area of hollow structures. The destruction is as promised, fully powered by Azure Cloud, with physics-based destruction playing a key part of the combat strategy. Agents are pitted 5v5 in a map with jump pads and fast-moving combat. There are 2 modes launching with the game: Agent Hunter, a version of Kill Confirmed, and Team Deathmatch. The game resembles the look and feel of Halo 5's multiplayer simulation mode. Lock-on combat is a point of contention among most gamers in practice, but it works very well as agents are meant to be on the move, all directions, especially up. And the feeling of destroying the map around you while taking down the other team is very satisfying. The reception for Wrecking Zone in preview a couple of weeks before launch has been very cold among big gaming sites, but insiders playing on Xbox and PC are reporting that the mode is very fun. The destruction is really working, and seeing debris and falling chunks across the map and above you is unlike anything you've ever played at this scale. Party matchmaking is not available but coming soon post-launch. Microsoft plans to roll out additional modes for Wrecking Zone post-launch, but what is here looks to be several hours of enjoyment for most, and many more for the rest. The campaign in Crackdown 3 is advertised to take around 15 hours to complete if you stay on task, but the nature of this open world collectible agility orbs and tasks that level up your agent make most average playthroughs around 20 to 25 hours. I collected almost 500 of the 1,000 orbs, cleared every enemy stronghold, unlocked all of the vehicles and the weapons after all was said and done after the credits. I was happily collecting orbs and unlocking the last of the lost agents. My 20 plus hours with Crackdown 3 were filled with a sense of fun and satisfaction, and I found a smile on my face that I haven't enjoyed since I played Spider-Man and Assassin's Creed Odyssey last year. I review games based on 4 criteria, scoring each based on their quality and measured against other games I played and loved, and some that I didn't love, based on story, presentation, gameplay, and multiplayer. Crackdown 3 gets a score of 7.8 out of 10. Crackdown 3 has 1 foot in last generation and 1 foot trying to stand in an ever-changing current generation of games. The anticipation for Crackdown keeps expectations right where they belong. This is not a game for everybody, but everybody should give this game a try. But with a high visual quality, and you just can't understate overall fun factor of its gameplay, pushes an average game, which is still good, closer to a great game. This is Colt Eastwood. If you like this video and this kind of presentation, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I put out content like this about once a week, so hit the bell if you'd like to be notified of any new videos. If you'd like a crack at getting access to Crackdown 3 via Game Pass on Xbox One or PC, like, subscribe, and comment below why you are interested in the series, and I'll pick a winner on launch day for a 3-month subscription to Game Pass. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game. It launches February 15th. Share the video with a friend, and I'll see you in the comment section. And some people will be here to see if the game flops, so if you run into those type of gamers, please be nice.